All right. Hello. Good evening, Mariana. Thanks for being in class. We're going to start class with you then. Well, with you two, right? Mariana and Lourdes. I'm going to work with the review first. Remember that the last thing we were working on was the future conditional, right? I want to ask you some questions first, and this is for you, Mariana. What do you remember about the future conditional? Because this is the last thing we worked in the last class. Mariana, can you hear me?
Remember so much. I I really don't know, teacher. I'm sorry.
All right. So I'm going to try to, well, remind you, right? What were the interesting things and the most important, sorry, about the future conditional. Remember, it starts and it started with this question. We already answered it, right? What will happen if you don't study for the test, right? That was the question to understand the future conditional. And actually, the future conditional is part of this question, right? If I don't study for the test, something will happen. So that is the future conditional, right? The future conditional is going to let us know or is going to let us understand what's going to be the consequence or what will the consequence be when something is or not true, like in this introduction that we have over here, right? So it's part of the four conditional clauses that we have, but this is only one of them. And it says the future conditional shows us how to, or sorry, how one action, right, in present is going to have a consequence in the future. That is future. And we were learning the two structures. And actually, we finished this topic because we worked with the normal structure, this one, and with the inversion, right? Remember that in the normal structure, you have this formula if plus simple present, affirmative or negative, right? Comma, future tense, affirmative or negative. Then you have will or be going to. And remember, Mariana, you were writing examples with will, but then I told you to write them with going to as well. So I'm going to work these examples now with you, please. Help me out with examples one more time with me, please. We already read them, but let's do it one more time. Examples 1, 2, and 3, please, with me.
Okay. If I stay here, I won't be able to finish my task. If she still feels bad, she's going to go to the doctor. If they don't complete the assignments, they'll fail the course.
Great. Thank you very much. Sorry, I thought that it was the last one. Yes. So both right tenses like fill out and follow the formula, right? You have if I stay here, if she feels bad, if they don't complete the assignments, that's simple present, affirmative or negative. Then you have comma, right? And you have future tense, right? I won't be able, she's going to, they'll fail. That's future, right? With will, I want, they'll, or with be going to, she's going to go. So I would like you now to try to think of sentences now, right? You already work with this. Again, I'm going to share this with you one more time. Give me 1 second. If you check this, right? These are the examples that we were writing last class. This is what we're going to be checking one more time today, just a little bit. So I'm sending the link to the chat. You already have like 4 examples here, but we're going to write a couple more to practice and to be sure that you understand this. But now I have some conditions, all right? So the link is in the chat. It should be now. Give me a second. Okay, there you go. There's been like an update in Zoom. Okay, there you go. So please, this is what we're going to do. you have this formula. You already wrote examples with this formula, but please write 2 more examples, but only with be going to. Okay, you have to follow the formula, right? You follow and you like apply the exact same formula, that one. But what is going to be the difference this time? That the future tense, please, has to be with be going to, all right? Don't use will. That's my only thing. Okay, just to practice, to be sure that you have this idea. 2 ideas with the future conditional, but only using be going to in the second clause. All right, let's work on that, please. If you have any questions, let me know. I know that some people joined the class, so I'm going to share the link one more time. Okay, so to the ones that just joined the class, please go to the link that is in the chat. It's the file that we always work. And you have to write 2 more sentences just to practice, all right? 2 more sentences following this formula, right? If, simple present, comma, future tense, but the condition is to use be going to, all right? Do not use will. You have to use be going to. Let's do it.
Sorry, teacher, we have to write 2 sentences that was only with be going to.
Yes, 2 sentences, Luciana, but following this formula, okay? 2 ideas in the future continuous, following this formula, if, simple present, comma, future tense, but don't use will, only use be going to in the second clause, okay? In the future tense clause. But of course, you need to write the if clause, the simple present clause, etc., etc.
Okay.
All right, that's the only condition. Good. Okay, good. I know for some of you this is very easy, right? Very simple. So we're going to check. Don't worry. Again, this is just a review to be sure that you remember what the future conditional is. All right. And again, try to memorize that word, conditional. It's a condition. So something will happen in the future if something in the present happens or doesn't happen. All right. So let's check. I'm going to go to the document. You're still writing. Don't worry. Keep writing if you didn't finish yet. All right. For example, I think I have the two sentences with you, right, Whitney? If you finish both of them, please, let's read them so that I can check your sentences.
Okay. If I don't finish the quiz, I am not going to pass the course. They are going to go to the hospital if they still feel sick.
Okay, great. Very good, Whitney. Yes, you're following the instructions. Present, future would be going to, and in the second one, you're working with the inversion, right? Which is perfect. That's great. I have no observations for you here, Whitney. That's great. Thank you. And I'm going to continue. Remember, please try to write two sentences, right? It means two complete ideas with this. If you're having some problems, you're just going to let me know. It doesn't matter if it takes more time, all right? Keep working, please. All right, please, Lourdes, let's continue with you. Let's read the two sentences that you wrote, please.
Okay, if she doesn't have good grades, she's not going to be able to apply for the scholarship. And if he still spends so much time on the computer, he is going to need to wear glasses.
Okay, great. Very good, Lourdes. You use like a lot of vocabulary in these two sentences, and that's great. I see no mistakes. Present, right, in both ideas at the beginning, and future in the second idea, and you're using be going to first in a negative way, and then in an affirmative way, right? I see no things here that I can correct. It seems to be great, Lourdes. Thank you very much. I'm going to go with you now, please, Sharai. Let's read your two sentences, please, or your two ideas.
Okay, teacher. The first one is, if I don't take care of myself, I'm going to infect of coronavirus. The next one is, if she drinks a lot of coffee, she's going to stay awake all night.
Okay, good, good. Only one little thing, right? But it's in terms of vocabulary. If you say I'm going to infect, it's like you are doing that actively, all right? Like you have the virus and you're going to infect people, right? But if you want to say that it's going to happen to you, you need to use one verb that is get. And you can say get infected, all right? All right, do you see the difference? If you use the verb here, get, and then you use the participle form, all right, it's going to be like that. And also, not only get infected, you don't get infected of something, you get infected with something, all right? And that's going to be it. So I'm going to get infected with coronavirus. That's going to be, or you can simply say, I'm going to get infected, right? With any virus, but infected, and that's it. Then in the second one, I think that it's great, right? If she drinks a lot of coffee, comma, she's going to stay awake all night. Yes, that's a good. I don't know if you have any questions about the correction that I made, Sharai. Let me know if you do, please.
Yes, teacher, everything's clear.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Then I'm going to go now with you. Mariana, let's read please the sentence that you wrote.
Okay, the first is, if I don't finish my work today, I'm going to be dismissed. And the second one is, my dog going to feel bad if I keep giving him chocolate.
All right, good. Let's analyze. The first one, good. It's just the apostrophe, right? Here, the apostrophe, capital letter, apostrophe, capital letter, but the idea is working great. That's perfect. All right, I don't. But only one word here. Dismissed is not going to be the word. The word is dismissed. All right, dismissed. Exactly.
Okay.
Good. Very good. Exactly. Very well. So if I don't finish, right? Now, and also one thing here, if you say don't, you need to use the base form of the verb. So you cannot say done finished. You have to say if I don't finish. All right. Or you can say this differently. All right. Some people that speak English say if I'm not finished with my work. Okay. So you can say if I am not finished with my work, or if I don't finish with my work. You have those two options. Okay. I am not finished with ed, or I don't finish without ed. All right, that's the only thing over there. Then you have capital letter. That's great. My gone. I'm also here. The idea is great, right? But it says my dog going to feel bad if I keep giving him chocolate. So the idea is great, but you need the verb to be, so that this is like future. All right, my dog is going to. All right, it's missing that verb to be. So my dog is going to feel bad if I keep giving him chocolate. I don't know if you have any questions about those little details, Mariana. Let me know, please.
No, teacher, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. And let's finish up with you, please, Luciana.
Okay, teacher. Sorry, I was having some troubles because I was doing the sentences in the classwork of Unit 2.
All right, don't worry, don't worry. Let's try to copy. Do you have them in Unit 2 still, or Luciana, or did you copy them here?
No, there's the sentences are already in this unit.
Okay, good.
Okay, the first one is if I don't stay here, I won't be able to go into my concert. And the second one is if I pass the test, I'll be going to the party.
Okay, good. Now let's analyze. You have the ideas there. Now let's see what happens when we use will or when we use be going to, right? So you have two options actually here, Luciana. If you're going to be using want, it means that you are using will. You cannot mix will with this idea because it's kind of repetitive. Look, it's going to be like many words. I won't be able to going. Actually, you need to say here, for example, go, all right? I won't be able to go to my concert. This is going to be correct. It's correct, but you're using will. And for this sentence, right, you don't have to use will. You only have to use be going to. And how do you change this, Luciana? In this way. This is one option, but this sentence is with will. I'm going to write it right next to it.
Okay.
The same sentence, but with be going to. Look, it's going to be very, very short. So instead of won't be able to, you have to change that won't because that's will. So to use be going to, first conjugate be. How do you conjugate be with am? Oh, sorry, I get you, right? With I, it's am. I am. If it's negative, not. then the phrase always going to. So it's going to be, I am not going to be able
Able to go to my class.
Exactly. All right. So you have those two options. Don't say I won't be able to go in because the structure is different. All right. Say I won't be able to go to my concert, or I am not going to be able to go to my concert. The idea is the same, only here is will and here be going to, right? And the same happens here, Luciana. It says, if I pass the test, comma, unit I, then how do you conjugate will? Oh, sorry, be, am, right? I am going to. Now, this is the condition also here, Luciana. When you use going to is only an expression for the future. Now you need another verb in the base verb. So you can say go and then to. All right. So I am going to go to the party. And if you want to say that in future with will, you're going to say I will go to the party. All right. Those are the two options then, Luciana. With be going to, you need this one over here. But if you use will, you only need the verb in the base verb. I don't know if you understand that difference, Luciana. Let me know, please.
Yes, teacher, I understand. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thank you, Luciana. Then let's go to the next part. We're going to keep practicing. Sorry, this one over here. That was in the normal order, right? You already worked with inversion, but we're going to do it one more time. Remember that in inversion, the only thing that you do is that you start with future tense and you continue with simple present. For example, I won't be able to finish my tasks, right? If I stay here, she's going to go to the doctor if she still feels bad. So following this, please only write one example, okay? Go to the document and only write one example. And again, please only use be going to, because I know that in the last examples you use will. You know how to write sentences with will, but now I want you to write with be going to. All right, only one sentence, please, but with inversion. You already did it, but one more. If you already work with inversion, write one more sentence, please. Okay, let's do it, please. I'm going to check. If you have questions, let me know. All right, so some of you finished. I'm going to try to check, right, the ones who finished already. So Lourdes, let's try to begin with you this time, please. Let's read your exam.
Okay, I am not going to wake up early tomorrow if I go to the party tonight.
Great, that's great, Lourdes. Thank you. Yes, no mistakes. Future will be going to, and then the conditional right next to it in the simple present. Thank you very much. Whitney, let's read yours, please.
Okay. We are going to find a new job if we don't complete the work.
All right, so let's analyze this one, right? That's good. It says we are going to find a new job, right? If we don't complete the work. It means that you don't complete the job, then you're going to find a new job, right? If you don't complete the work. Okay, good. Thank you very much, Whitney. I'm going to go with you now. Let's see. Yes, Mariana, let's read yours, please.
Okay, the first one, well, the only one is I'm going to be able to work tomorrow if I sleep well tonight.
Great, good. I'm going to be able to work tomorrow, right? If I sleep well tonight. That's great. That's great, Mariana. I see no observations over here. It seems to be great. Thank you.
Okay.
And Luciana, let's go with you now, please.
Sorry, teacher. I have one missing. I have to end one sentence.
Did this time is it was only one, Luciana, only one sentence.
Okay. The first one, the only one is he isn't going to be able to come to my birthday if his PCR is positive.
All right, if his PCR is positive, all right, good. That's great. You are following the rules. First one, future, but in negative. Then the conditional in present, right? Simple present. That's it. All right, it's as simple as that. It was only one because we have one more thing to do. I think here one person is missing, but I'm going to see what happens. Well, Shari is not here. Something must have happened. So let's continue. This is reviewing because this is something we did the last class, all right? I wanted to do it one more time because I know that you had some of you had some problems with be going to, but I think that now it's clear for you. So let's go to the last part of this lesson, which is variations. Now I'm going to ask you to read this because this is something new. So you're going to help me out, please. Let me see. Lourdes, if you can help me with this short explanation about variations, please.
Okay, we can use other modals instead of the future tense in that clause. Can, might, may, and should are the most common option.
Thank you very much. It's going to be, this is going to be only like A, right? So can, may, might, or should, all right? So you have those two options. Well, so those four options. Thank you, Lourdes. You can use these models in the future tense, okay? So instead of saying will, instead of saying be going to, you can say can, may, might, or should. Help me out with the formula, please, this time. Whitney, if you can read the formula, please. Remember, this is going to be affirmative or negative, and this is going to be like plus. Let's read it, please.
Okay, if plus simple present, negative or affirmative, comma plus subject plus can, may, might, should, negative or positive.
Yes, there you go. Thank you very much, Whitney. This is the formula. Very simple, right? You have the first clause with present, you have a comma, and then you have the second clause with can, may, might, or should. Affirmative or negative. I'm not giving the complete formulas also in the future, right, with will or be going to, because you already know. But if I see that you have some problems with that, I'm going to help you with the formulas, all right? But with examples, I think that you're going to be able to understand. So if you can help me with the first example, please, Mariana.
Okay, if I stay here, I may not to be able to finish my tasks.
Okay, good, good, but may not be able, right? I may not be able to finish my tasks. Great, thank you. The second one, please, Luciana, if you can help me with example number 2.
Okay. If she still feels bad, she can go to her classes.
Thank you very much, right? So we are using can't this time. And number 3, I'm going to go back to you, please, Lourdes, if you can help me out with 3.
If they don't complete the assignments, they might fail this course.
Thank you very much, Lourdes. So a quick reminder, right? Who can tell me when you use can? What kind of model is can and when do you use it? How or who remembers that? This is something that you covered before, and this is optional. What do you say? I'm going to be asking, when do you use can? When do you use may or might? They are similar. Here, they are the same. And when do you use should? Who remembers those differences between those models? Anybody?
Maybe the word should is more like a suggest to someone.
Okay, good.
An example could be, you should clean your room. It's like not an order, but it's a suggest. Might is like when you have suspect or about some topic. May is when you are not totally sure about something.
Good, good, very good.
And can is when you think that someone has the opportunity or the ability to do something.
Great, great. That's great, Luciana. Thank you very much. Yes, you gave us all the answers. All right, that's correct. Only remember, if you say suggest, suggest is like a verb. You can use the noun and you can say suggestion. All right, so yes, should is for suggestion or for suggestion people, right? What they should do. Good. Suggestions or recommendations should. Possibility, all right? In this case, you were right, Luciana. Might is when we suspect that something can be true, but in this case, may and might are going to be the same for possibility, all right? For possibility. And can is going to be for ability, right? Or when something has the opportunity to happen or to occur, right? So that's great. Knowing that, please, we're going to work the last 2 sentences of this lesson. To go to the new one, please go to the file and write 2 sentences. You can use can, may, might, or should. Try to use 2 different models, okay? One sentence can be with may, one sentence with should. But you need to write the entire formula, all right? If simple present, comma, the sentence with may, with can, with should, or the one you want, and that's it. Let's write, please, those 2 examples. You finish, and I'll check those examples. All right, one reminder, remember that you are replacing the future tense, right? So don't use future here. You are using can, may, might, or should instead of your future tense, right? All right, good. So I see that most of you finished your ideas. That's great. You have no difficulties with this topic. I know that this is a very simple topic because you're using simple tenses, right? Simple present, simple future, you're using models. This is something that you know. So I can realize that. Let's try to work, please, with your examples. Let's start with you once again, Lourdes, please.
Okay, if you are still sick tomorrow, you should go to visit a doctor. And if he has COVID, he can't go out of his room for almost 2 weeks.
Okay, good. You're following all the rules. That's great, right? Present, present, and then you're using should, and then can in negative. Only one little advice over here, Lourdes. When you say you should go to visit a doctor, it's okay, but usually they are only going to say you should visit a doctor or you should go to the doctor, because when we say something like go to visit, it's kind of like the same idea over there. All right, so only one of the two options would be great over there, Lourdes, but then the rest is okay. All right, you should visit the doctor or you should go to the doctor, but that's great. The rest of it can go out of his room, right, for almost 2 weeks. Thank you, Lourdes. Now I'm going with you, Whitney. If you can read your examples, please.
Okay, if the cat doesn't go to the veterinarian, it might be healthy problems. If Russia doesn't accept the trade, the Americans can't have a scholarship.
All right, now let's analyze. Good. I think we're following the structures at least in a correct way. That's great. This is present, right, in a negative way. Good. It says if the cat doesn't go to the veterinarian, right? All right. Here we're going to try to write it in a different way. I'm going to create it immediately. Comma, right? You don't need capital letter over D. It might be, if you have a, this has to be singular. So you have two options. You can delete a, and you can say it might be, right, health problems, but it's better if you keep that a and you eliminate the s over there, right? It might be a health problem, right, or trouble. Both are going to work over there, right? Here, something is missing, all right? It's going to be like the veterinarian, all right? Veterinarian. So some spelling is missing over there. Then if Russia doesn't accept, then it's going to be something different. Trade, perhaps you can use the word trade, because trade is not going to be something that you're going to be using a lot. Sorry, where it is, all right? Trade, because what is the word that you want to say there, Whitney? Do you have an explanation for this word? What do you mean by trade?
Trade is with the my mistake.
Okay, good. That's great then, right? Yes. The Americans can have, right, scholarships. Okay, then it's working good with me. Very good. I don't know if you understood the correction over here. Do you have any questions about that?
No, I understand.
Good. And also this, try to check the spelling, right? It's missing some words. It has to be like the veterinarian, right? But then it's great. Thank you very much, Whitney. Luciana, let's go with you, please.
Okay. The first one is, if she stays, she might get a work at the cafe, a work or job. And the last one is, if they copy in the math test, they can be expelled.
Okay, now let's check. First, two things in terms of pronunciation, all right? This is great. I think the organization and ideas are great. If you say might, you are reading the other word, okay? M-I-G-H-T. But this is going to be only may, all right? She may. Instead of might, may. She may, then it's great. Get, work. Work is used like an uncountable noun. It's more referred to the activity of working. But if you're talking about the position, it's better to say job, all right? To get a job and done a work. And if you say coffee, it's like the liquid, right? Coffee. But if you want to talk about the place, you can say at the cafe, all right? And that's going to be good. You can say at the cafe. Because again, coffee, it's going to be like the real coffee. All right, but you're talking about the place, right? Good. Then if they copy in the math test, they can be, this is only pronunciation, expelled. All right, expelled. That's it. I don't know if you have any questions about that, Luciana. Let me know if you do.
No, teacher, it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mariana, let's finish this up with you, please.
Okay, if I stay here, he can go. If he stay here, he can go to this work meeting. And the second is, if I don't have careful, I might has COVID.
Okay, let's analyze. The first one, in the second one, the idea is also great, but we're going to change some expressions, all right? If he, remember, if this is present, you need to use the S of the third person, right? If he stays here, good. He can go right to his work meeting. That's perfect. All right. That's perfect. Only the S then. All right. Be careful with that. It's not the only thing. In the second one, if you say don't have careful, that's like very Spanish. You're translating Spanish to English, right? But in English, you don't say have careful. In English, you say be careful. All right. So you have to say, if I am not careful, all right? You cannot say, if I don't careful, that's incorrect. You have to say, if I'm not careful, okay? Because the expression is to be careful. So if I'm not careful, comma, I might, this is good, then it says has, but you don't say has, right? After might, after all models, Mariana, you have to use the base verb. All right, so it would be have. I might have COVID. But again, here in terms of expression, grammatically speaking, no, it's correct. I might have COVID. But in terms of expressions, you don't say I might have COVID. You're going to say I might get COVID, okay? Because you get infected or, yes, you get infected with a virus. All right, so I might get COVID. I don't know if you have any questions about these corrections, Mariana. Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Thank you very much. So I think we're finishing then. I checked all of your examples. If I didn't check any of your examples, let me know, please. But I think I did. With that, we are finishing this lesson. Okay, we're finishing future conditional. It was just that. So please remember, in future conditional, you have the normal structure, you have the inversion, and you have variations with can, may, might, and should. That's it. Please, again, if you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'm considering that we are finishing with that lesson, and we can go to the next one, which is going to be this one over here. But we're going to start with a video. Do you have any questions one more time? Let me know. Okay, so let me begin then by showing you this video over here. Of course, you know what we're talking about, but I want you to analyze a little bit the sentences and the ideas that you're going to watch, and you're going to try to explain me, all right, when to use this tense. I'm not going to explain you yet. I'm going to show you the presentation with explanation, but first, I want you to explain me, all right, what you can get from this video.
Well, they said some.
All right. So you're going to let me know if the volume is okay. I can turn it up if you can't listen very well.
Well, they said some man had been taken prisoner.
He had been complaining it was too heavy. I should have listened.
All right. This is a set of many sentences, part of many shows, movies, in which they use this tense, the past perfect. Okay, so pay attention to these sentences.
If I'd have been Alfredo's doctor.
You are his doctor.
I tried Walt's cell and it said the number had been disconnected.
Mr. Smith said there had been death.
Previously, the name had been a simple one.
If you had seen what was on this tape, believe me, you would have some comments.
The greatest obstacle to her recovery was her refusal to face what she had done.
Drink and the devil had done for the rest. Hey-ho, ho, ho, and a bottle of rum.
But before he died, Leland confronted the horror of what he had done to Laura and agonized over the pain he had caused you.
All right. So I'm going to stop here. We're going to watch a couple more, but with this example and with this example specifically, all right? But before he died, right, Leland confronted the horror of what he had done to Laura, right? And agonized over the pain he had caused you, all right? I'm going to ask this randomly. I'm going to start with you, Lourdes, all right? By listening to these examples, but seeing how these people have been using the present, or sorry, the past perfect, what can you tell me about this tense, Lourdes? When do you think that we use the past perfect by looking at these examples? Or what can you understand?
I think that we use the past perfect when we are talking about some action that happened in the past, but in the in I don't know how to say it, but it's how for example, I have a line time, and we have in the present, and there is the past, and there is more past. So I think that we use the past perfect when we are talking about the more past. I know that it's not the perfect definition, but I think that it's something like that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Lourdes. Yes, it doesn't matter, right? The thing is that I want to understand, right, what's your knowledge or your understanding, right, related to past perfect. And actually, you're right. You can use these words. You can say like the earlier past event, all right, or even, right, one of the first past events in comparison to other past tenses, as for example, the simple past. For example, in this sentence, in this idea, it says, right, before he died, that simple past, Leland confronted that simple past, then this is past perfect, he had done, right, to Laura, and agonized over the pain he had caused you. So, yes, it's related to what you said, Lourdes. It's a past event that it's earlier, right, than any other past events. All right, it like precedes those other past events. Now, I have a different question, and this question is for you this time, Luciana. When you read this idea over here, it says, right, Leland confronted the horror of what he had done to Laura. This is my question for you, Luciana. What is the first action that this person confronted the horror or what he had done to Laura? What is the earlier action? What is the first action in the past?
I think that the first action will be what he had done, because first he had done something to Laura, and with that action have like how can I say repercussion?
Yes, it's very similar. It has some repercussions or consequences.
And that action have some repercussions or consequences, and ended in Leland confront.
Exactly. And that's going to be like something that happens after the first event, that is that he had done something, right, to Laura. Okay, good. That's great. I'm going to play one more. I'm going to keep asking questions. Thank you very much, Lucia.
Once he figured out what Martin and the others had done.
And when my dad found out what I had done with his money, he and I didn't talk much after that.
Good. I think this is another very complex idea, but this also shows us very well what the past perfect is. Help me out reading this idea, please, with me. If you can read the captions, please, read the entire idea.
Okay. And when my dad found out what I had done with his money, he and I didn't talk much after that.
Thank you very much, Whitney. That's correct. And this question is also for you, Whitney. It's very simple because it's related to what I asked to Luciana in the last one. Which one of these events is the first one and which one is the second event, Whitney? What he had done with the money or that they didn't talk after that?
Okay, first is had done and later is talk.
Later is the action of talking, right? Exactly. Thank you very much, Whitney. Correct. Right here, it's organized. Something that he had done with the money first, And the consequence is going to be also in past, right? But it's in the simple past. So this is what you need to get. The past perfect, all right, is like the first past event, and it's before the simple past, all right? That is very important. A past perfect sentence is always before a simple past sentence. That's very, very important. So you can say things like, when you arrived, I had already watched, right, the movie. It means that first I watched the movie and then you arrived, right? So the past perfect, it's always going to be the first past event, right? And it's always before the simple past. And that's it. Now we can go to this idea and we're going to learn how to use the past perfect, right? By doing this. And first, I would like you to analyze this. And you're going to help me out with this, Mariana. Let's read the two sentences, please.
Okay, in June, she traveled to the US. By June, she had traveled to the US.
Thank you, Mariana. So that question also for you, Mariana. What differences do you see between these two sentences?
Like in the first one, says that I think that at the first days of June, she traveled. And in the second one is like by June is not exactly the days, don't say the exactly days that she traveled.
Okay, and for you?
Some days she traveled in June. I think like I realized like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Mariana. So for you, the first one is like more specific and the second one is not that specific, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's continue. Luciana, you raised your hand. What do you say?
Okay, I think that the first sentence is talking more like in past, and the second one is talking more in future because it's talking by June she had traveled to the US, and that will be meaning that it's not June yet, but it's like an action that is going to happen.
Okay, thank you very much, Luciana. Let's understand this because your like assumptions are not incorrect, all right, Mariana, Luciana. Yes, in June, it's like more specific. By June is like close to this date, right? But actually also here, Luciana, this is important. By June can be used for future, but it also can be used for past, all right? It can also be used for past. And in this case, both ideas are past, but the difference is the following, all right? I'm going to see what happened with your partners. The first sentence, all right, when this action happened is in June, right? When did she travel? She traveled in June, all right? Exactly in this date. She traveled in June. But when you say by June and you say she had traveled, it means that she did this action before June, all right? Before June. Whenever you use the word by, it means that something is going to finish before this date. And you were right, Luciana. We use this a lot for future, but in this case, it's not going to be for something in the future. It's for something in the past that happened before this date. All right, so one more time. In the first sentence, this action happened in June. In the second sentence, this action happened before June. All right, that is the main difference here. So The simple past is used for specific actions that happen in a specific time, but this is the past perfect, right? The past perfect is used to talk about actions that happened before a specific time. So this time, by June, is that a specific time, all right? That is the main difference, but I would like to explain this to me one more time with your own words, or you can use my words. So one more time, please, Luciana, with that explanation, how can you explain this one more time, the difference between these two sentences?
The difference, it will be that in June is a specific time in this sentence when she traveled to the US, and in the second sentence is not a specific time, it's only like approximate time about the month respect the travel she has done to the US, and that is the difference. Is for that in this case it's not talking about the future, but it's talking like for that, by that dates or months she's gonna travel to the US.
And she did this action, right? Because it's past. And one question there, Luciana, to complement, when you use by in June and when you use the past perfect, because remember this is past perfect, right? She had traveled. This action happened, when this action happened? Did it happen before June? Did it happen in June? Or can it happen after June, Luciana? If you say by June, he had traveled. Can it be before?
That when in this sentence says by June, this travel can be made like in before or after.
All right, we're going to analyze that in a little bit. Thank you very much, Luciana. And now let's try to explain one more time with you, please, Mariana. How can you explain one more time the difference between these two sentences, Mariana? With the explanation that I was giving. What do you say, Mariana? Are you there? Oh, yes, I think you're having some problems. I see your hand, right, that is raised, but your microphone is still off. All right, try to solve that problem, Mariana, because I cannot hear you. I see your microphone off. Okay, I think your microphone is on now, Mariana. But I cannot listen to anything. All right, I think that most of you are having some problems, all right, but I have to continue with the class. I imagine that your partners are going to be watching the video, Luciana, but I'm going to explain this then, and it's very important. To the question that I asked you, Luciana, if you use the past perfect and by June, the action cannot be in June and the action cannot be after June, all right? The only option is before June. Why? Because that's the rule with the past perfect. Whenever you use the past perfect, all right, the action can only be before this specific date. If you say, for example, by 9 a.m., it means that it had to be before 9 a.m. It cannot be at 9 a.m., right? It cannot be after 9 a.m. It had to be before 9 a.m. in the past and always in the past. I don't know if you have any comments or questions about that, Luciana. Let me know, please.
No, teacher, sorry. My connection was bad and I get to upstairs and restart the modem of the Wi-Fi. So, but I get the last thing you say to me, that it cannot be, if you use by, the action can only be happen before, not
Yes,
after.
exactly. And mainly when you use this tense, Luciana, because you can use by with future, but in this case, this is not future, all right? In this case, this is past, only past. And even it's the first past event even before the simple past, right? So yes, you're right, Luciana. It can only be before June, all right? Even it cannot be in June. If you think that it was in June, it's incorrect. It has to be before June. Exactly, all right? So that's the main idea. And when you say in June and you use the simple past, it happened in June, not before June, not after June, right? It happened in June. So that is the main difference between these two sentences, all right? The first sentence is very specific, something that happened in June. The second sentence is also specific, but it's something that happened before June, all right? Before June. So, Mariana, you were having some problems with your connection. Let me know if you can hear me, please. I think most of you had some problems. Tell me, Mariana, can you hear me well? I think we're still having some problems. Try to fix that, please, Mariana. In any case, please remember that everything is being recorded, all right? Whitney, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, teacher.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Whitney. I think you were having some problems, you and your partners, but remember that the recordings are always in the channel, right? So whenever you think you want to check if you have some problems, you can go to the video and check that out there. But let's continue with this lesson, all right? We're learning about the past perfect. And please, Luciana, you're going to help me by reading the introduction of this tense.
Okay. Use the past perfect to talk about a past event that happened before another past event. It means that the past perfect will always be the earlier event in the past.
Thank you very much, Luciana. So this is very important, okay? The past perfect is always going to be the earlier event. It's always going to be the first event in the past. You only use the past perfect in that situation, all right? And this is clear, right? A past event that happened before another past event. That's the past perfect, all right? That's why you use, Luciana, Mariana, with me. That's why you use expressions as by June, because this is a past event by June, but the past perfect happened before this reference. All right, so she had traveled to the US before June, all right, before June, and only before June. I have this is important for you. Again, you have this in this document. These are the formulas. Tell me, Luciana.
Sorry, can you show please just 1 minute the last one?
The first, this one?
No, the other one after that one.
The introduction. Of course.
How can I say in English diapositiva?
Yeah, the slide. You can say the slide.
The slide?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right, good. So this is the concept, right? The definition, please. If you have questions about this, let me know. Later on, I'm going to show you the formula in affirmative, in negative, and in question, right? Or in interrogative sentence. That's going to be for you to know how to form a question in this tense, which is very important. All right. And again, a quick reminder, you have all this information for you, right? Whenever you want to check it, it's for you on Google Classroom. All right. Good. Are you ready, Luciana? Let me know, please.
Yes.
Okay, There you go. So these are the formulas. Affirmative, the green one, negative, the red one, and the question or the interrogative form, the yellow one. All right. Help me out with the affirmative and negative formula, please, with me.
Okay, subject add verb past participle complement. Subject had not verb past participle complement.
Thank you very much. So as you can see, it's very simple. What you need is had with all the subjects, okay? I, we, you, they, he, she, it, had, plus the verb in the past participle. Remember, the past participle is like the third column, right? For example, go, went, gone, right? Do, did, done. So gone, done, seen, those are verbs in the past participle, all right? Like the last conjugation in past. I'm going to be asking you some verbs. I'm going to see how much you know about that so that you can practice a little bit more if you need it. And I want to check one more time. Mariana, can you turn on the mic now?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, good. Mariana, please help me out with the last formula, the formula of the question, please.
Okay. WH plus had subject verb past participle complement.
Thank you very much, Mariana. So these are the formulas. Let's try to work with these formulas, all right? Let's try to write some examples. No, not right yet. Let's try to think of some examples. For example, in affirmative, you can say, I had seen that movie. I don't want you to give me complex sentences, all right? Just that. I had seen that movie. Negative would be, I hadn't or I had not seen that movie. And in question would be, have you seen that movie? Okay, let's try to work the same with you. I'm going to start with you, Whitney, please, this time. Try to give me one sentence for each, just speaking with me. One affirmative sentence, one negative, and one question using these formulas, please.
2 examples?
3 in total, right? One affirmative, one negative, and one question.
Okay, for example, I had done my homework. I had not gone to my university. And why had you decide join this work or this job?
Great. Just one thing to remember, why have you decided, right? It will be like the ed at the end, right? Participle. Good. That's perfect. Thank you, Whitney. That's correct. The 3 examples were correct, Whitney. Thank you. Let's work with you now, please, Luciana. The same idea. Give me one example per formula. One affirmative, one negative, and one question, please, Luciana, using these formulas.
Okay. She had done a gift for her boyfriend. He doesn't. No, I don't have the opportunity to study yesterday.
In this case, remember, you have to use this, and in negative, Luciana, it's going to be I hadn't, okay? Or I had not. Then you need the verb in the past participle, all right? It has to be a verb in the past participle. So how do you say that idea now using this formula? Remember, Luciana, any subject plus had not plus any verb in the past participle, like for example, you can say studied, right? Okay. Bought, gone, seen, and then the complement. So what do you say? What is the negative example then?
Okay, she had not cookie, a cake, cooked. She had not cooked a cake for her sister.
All right.
The last one could be, why had you decided to study that career?
All right, good. Just one little thing in the negative. Remember, if you say cook, that's base form, right? What is the past?
Cooked.
Cooked, right?
Sorry,
Great.
I think it's the pronunciation because I was in my mind with the E.
The ED. All right, don't worry.
ED at the end.
Exactly. So, but it has to be strong, right? Then that's great. It will be, right? I, he, she, it had not cooked, right? Great. That's great. And with you, please, if you have questions, you can raise your hand or you just can tell me. All right? You just can tell me. Now it's for you, Mariana. Can you give me 3 examples using these 3 formulas, please, Mariana?
Okay. The first one can be, had you eat the sandwich? It can be like that. I really don't understand very well.
All right. The past perfect is going to be used, and you're going to understand how to use it, Mariana, when I show you the next slides, all right? The common expressions and so on. But here, only try to follow the formula first, Mariana, and then you're going to understand in context. So if you want to follow the formula, Mariana, it was okay. Had, correct. You, correct. But now you need a verb in the past participle. What is the past participle of eat, Mariana?
Eaten.
Eaten, exactly. So that's it. Had you eaten, and what complement can you use there?
That sandwich.
Good. Have you eaten that sandwich? That's correct, okay? Grammatically speaking is correct. We are just practicing because we are never going to say just a sentence in the past perfect like, I had eaten sandwich or a sandwich. No, the past perfect is always used in context, okay? We never use the past perfect by itself. But here, tell me, Mariana.
Okay, I think that it can be like, had you eaten the lunch?
Yes, yeah, no, it's okay. And also a sandwich, no, it's okay, Mariana. You can say a sandwich, a lunch, it's okay. Your example is perfect. I'm just telling you that now it's weird because all of you, all right, Luciana, Whitney, and even my examples are weird because we don't use the past perfect by itself, all right? Here, the only thing I'm trying to do is to make you use the formula. And then later on, Mariana, you're going to understand how to use the past perfect with the context. But here, it's only to practice the formula, Mariana, right? But your example was perfect. Had you eaten a sandwich? Have you eaten lunch? Both examples are great, Mariana. Now try to give me one affirmative and one negative example, please.
Okay, the second one can be, had you eaten? The not needs to be at the first or
the first
after the verb.
Remember, the one you gave me, Mariana, it was a question because if you see, it was had, right? You use had, subject, verb, and complement. But if you see here, this is the order, Mariana. First, subject, then had, then verb, and then complement. The same here, right? Subject, had, not, verb, and complement. All right, so it's using these two, Mariana, affirmative and negative.
Okay, I don't know how to use not in this sentence. Like,
First, give me the affirmative, Mariana. Then we're going to work the negative, okay? First,
Okay.
without nothing, only affirmative.
It's the last, had you eaten a sandwich?
Yes, but that's a question, right? That is a question. So
Oh,
you
okay,
give me the
sorry.
question. You need to give me an affirmative sentence.
You had, like, you had eat a sandwich?
But remember, not eat, eaten, right?
Eaten.
Always the past participle. Yes. that is
You had
affirmative.
eaten the sandwich?
Yes. You had eaten a sandwich. And what is the negative? Only at not after had, Mariana, and it's negative. That's it.
You had not eaten a sandwich?
Exactly. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, so you had eaten a sandwich. You had not eaten a sandwich. Had you eaten a sandwich? That's it. All right?
Okay.
That is the past perfect. That's the only
Okay,
thing.
I understand.
Great. Great, Mariana. Now, you're going to understand even better with these expressions over here. All right? You're going to help me out with this one first. Whitney, please. Help me out with expressions with by.
I have to read.
Yes, please. Let's read those
Okay.
examples.
By the time someone did something or something happened by 1990, by the middle of that year.
Thank you. So this is what you use to talk with the past perfect, okay? So please, a reminder, Luciana, Mariana, Whitney, what is the past perfect? The past perfect is a tense that you use when you want to say that something happened before another past event. That's why you use these expressions. You can say, for example, by the time you finished your homework, comma, I had already finished mine. All right, so I'm going to try to make you explain that. That's going to be for you, Luciana. If I say that, by the time you finished your homework, comma, I had already finished mine. So this is my question, Luciana. Who finished, right, their homework first? It was you or it was me?
It was you, because you are telling me that by the time I finish my homework, you already had your homework done.
Exactly, right? And because I'm using the past perfect when I say I, right? Correct. That's great, Luciana. Good. If I say this, then this is a second example, and it's going to be for you, Whitney. If I say this, Whitney, by the time the pandemic started, all right, by the time the pandemic started, she had bought a new car. By the time the pandemic started, she had bought a new car. So what is the first action with me? The pandemic started or that she bought a new car?
Both.
That she bought a new car. Good. And why? Why do you say that, Whitney? Why is that action the first action?
Because by the time is an expression that explain a event in the last event, but with previous action.
Okay, good. Yes, when by the time we talk about a past action, but if my sentence, right, is in the past perfect, for example, she had bought a new car, it means that the sentence in the past perfect, it's always going to be the first one, right? And the action in the by the time, it's going to be the second event, right? Good. Thank you very much, Whitney. And now this is going to be for you, Mariana. It's going to be very similar. Mariana, if I say by the time All right, by the time she broke up with her boyfriend, by the time she broke up with her boyfriend, comma, I had already, all right, I had already broken up with my girlfriend. Okay, one more time, Mariana. By the time she broke up with her boyfriend, comma, I had broken up with my girlfriend. So this is my question, Mariana. Who broke up first? It was her or it was me?
I think that her.
All right. What do you?
Because you said that, I don't know how to explain it, but I think that she broke up first because in that time you broke up, like, I understand like you broke up after that because in the time she was broken up, you broke up. I don't know how to explain it very well.
Okay, let me help you with this idea. Look, Mariana, this is going to be, I'm going to write it here, and it's going to be for everybody, right? It can be helpful for everybody. This is going to be like the example, Mariana, over here, right? It's by the time, right? She broke up with her, right, boyfriend, comma, I had, right? It means I had, right? It means had. Broken up with my girlfriend. This is the sentence, Mariana. So my question goes here again, and I'm going to show you the definition one more time. Perhaps it's important to show you the definition once again. Give me a second. All right, there you go. So in the definition, we have this, Mariana. It says we use the past perfect to talk about a past event that happened before another past event. All right, so past perfect is for a past event that happened before. This is very, very important, Mariana, before. And this is even more important. It means that the past perfect will always be the earlier event. In other words, Mariana, the past perfect is always going to be the event, the past event that happens after, okay? Never before, all right? Or sorry, that happened before, sorry, all right? That happened before. That's why it's the earlier event. So with that explanation, remember past perfect. In this sentence that I made for you, Mariana, it's by the time she broke up with her boyfriend, I had broken up with my girlfriend. So where is the past perfect here, Mariana?
It's the second part.
Exactly. And what does the definition say about the past perfect? It's always the event that happened before.
Before.
The earlier. So the one more time. So what is the first action in these two? By the time she broke up with her boyfriend, I had broken up with my girlfriend.
Okay, I understand.
Right? So which one would be the first one and which one the second then, Mariana?
The first one is you broke with your girlfriend, and the second one is she broke with her boyfriend.
Exactly. And this can be confusing because of by the time, but we only use by the time, Mariana, to show that something happened before this action. Okay? Only that's the only reason why we use this sentence. Okay? So by the time she did that, I already did this before. All right? That's the main idea. All right? That's the main idea, and that's how we use the past perfect. Good. Let me show you one more or a couple more to finish this class. We are going to help me out with reading this. Please, Luciana, if you can help me with when. Let's read the when expressions, please.
Okay. When someone did something, when something happened.
Thank you. The same idea, right? You use that and then you use the past perfect, right? When the pandemic started, I had bought a car. The same idea that I gave to Whitney, right? It's the same idea. Before, please, if you can help me out, Whitney, before.
I read.
Yes, please. Let's read
Okay.
the column.
Okay. Before someone did something, before something happened.
Thank you very much. And it's the same idea. In the next class, we're going to go with after, okay? But let's keep with these three. These three are the most important ideas, all right? Are the most important ideas. By, when, and before. Now, to finish this class, please, let's do the following. You still have the document, right? Go please to the chat. Go to that link one more time. I know that some of you disconnected, so I'm sharing the link one more time. So please, following these formulas and using these common expressions, let's write two examples. All right, let's write two examples using these expressions and using the past perfect, please. Two. It's going to be, no, let's only work with one. That's going to be more than enough. All right, only one example, please. Choose. You can use by, you can use when, and you can use before. And this is actually the formula that you're going to use. I'm going to write it for you over here. If you're going to write a sentence with by, you can say by the time and something in simple past, comma, and past perfect. All right, that's the formula for by the time. That's very important. If you're going to write a sentence with when, it's going to be when, simple past, comma, past perfect. All right. And if you're going to use before, it's exactly the same. A sentence with before would be before, simple past, comma, past perfect. Okay, so let's write, please, only one sentence using one of these formulas. If you have questions, let me know, please. I'm also going to do something. I'm copying and pasting the formulas in the chat. All right, I know that some of you don't know the formulas yet. So okay, good. So you have the formula in the chat and you have the expressions in the presentation. I think now that you can work these ideas. Great. I think you're doing a good job. All right. Try to finish. I'm going to check everything. But that's right. The logic that you're following is correct. By the time something happened, what happened before, right? Past perfect. When something happened, what happened before? Past perfect. Before something happened, what happened before? Past perfect. Sometimes, all right, Google is going to try to correct that D, right? And it's going to say would. So if you're having that problem, you can use the complete form, right? I had, or I had done. But if not, it's okay anyway. All right, I'm going to check that. Remember, please, the objective of this sentence is that you have to use the past perfect, right? You have to use the past perfect. And again, the formula is in the chat. You can go to Zoom and you can check the formula. Remember, past perfect is always with had and the verb in the past participle, right? Had plus the verb in the past participle. I had done, I had studied, I had opened, I had closed, I had seen, etc., etc., right? Any verb with had and the past participle. You can check my example one more time if you want, right? It's like in my example. By the time she broke up with her boyfriend, simple past, comma, I had broken up with my girlfriend. Past perfect. Okay.
Sorry, teacher, one question.
Yes.
I can say when I use the past perfect after the simple past, for example, sorry, I can use the verb have in past, like I had, and after other verb that ends in ed.
Yes, because actually you're following the formula. I'm with your example. This is your example, right, Luciana? I had opened. Good. So
Yes.
actually, this is the past verb, okay? And actually, you have to do this because if you don't do this, it's going to be incorrect. Had is not the past of possession, right? Had is an auxiliary verb, right? It's an auxiliary verb. So yes, you use had. Then you use the past participle of open is only opened, right? Because it's open, opened, opened. Simple past opened, past participle opened. Yes, I had opened my store, or you can say this in the English way, right? My cosmetics store. That's going to be better, all right? But that's correct, Luciana. Your sentence is correct. When Steffi decided to move out, right, of town, comma, I had opened my cosmetics store. It means that first, you opened your cosmetics store. Second, Steffi decided to move out of town.
Okay, teacher, and I have one more question. When I use the simple past, I can not use, right, the verb had or
Yes.
have, because it's only have to put a verb and add to that verb the ID, right?
Yes, exactly. If it's in the simple past, only the main verb, right? Ed. But remember that there are irregular verbs, Luciana. For example, write. So it's not going to be with ed, right? It's going to be wrote or read or ate, right? So when it's simple past, only the main verb. You don't need had. you only need had always in the past perfect, okay? Only in the past perfect. Then only the verb conjugated. Good, that's great. No more corrections for you, Luciana, thank you. Let's go with you, please, Mariana.
Okay. It was when I finished the exam, I had a good grade.
All right. Again, the idea, it's good. Okay. Grammatically speaking, it's good. When I finished the exam, I had a good grade. Now, but to use the past perfect, Mariana, we're going to keep practicing. Don't worry. I know that we're using more time, but if you check the chat in Zoom, you have the formulas. I'm going to copy the formulas down below. So there are the formulas. All right. Those are the formulas, Mariana. Subject like plus had plus a verb in the past participle. So if the second sentence, Mariana, has to be in the past perfect, you need to use this formula. Had is only an auxiliary. Now you need a verb in the past participle to tell here, Mariana, the objective of the past participle, of the past perfect, Mariana, is to tell that a past event happened before another past event. So what happened before you finished your exam, Mariana? You can tell me anything, but before, not after, right?
Oh.
Before you finished your exam. What happened before you finished the exam?
I make the exam.
You what?
I made the exam.
Okay, you can say something like that, but if you want to say that action, Mariana, you're going to use the past perfect, and it's going to be I had made, but it's going to be a little bit weird, right? Had made the exam. You can say that, but you can say things like this, Mariana. For example, something that you did before the exam can be, when I finished the exam, right? You can mention something that someone else did before, Mariana. For example, you can say, John had finished, right, his. It means that John finished his exam first. Or you can say something like, when I finished my exam, I don't know, right? Someone had called you before the exam. So my mom had called me 5 times. It means that before this action happened, Mariana, before you finished the exam, this happened before. John had finished his. And also this happened before. My mom had called me 5 times. I don't know if you get that idea, Mariana.
Yes, I get it.
All right, the past perfect, then it's going to be for something that happened before another past event. All right, okay. So you need to think of something that happened before. I don't know if you have any questions about that, Mariana. Let me know, please.
No, teacher, I don't have anyone.
Good, thank you. And I'm going to finish with you, Lourdes. Oh, sorry, Whitney, you're here. Whitney, let's read your last sentence, please.
Okay, when I started university, I had a lot of problems to decide.
Okay, so this is something that happened before you started university, right? So it's okay. The computer, right? Google wants to change this to simple past, but here we're learning about the past perfect. So it's going to be okay, right? The auxiliary had and the past of have, right? Had. I don't know if you have any questions with me. Let me know, please, about the past perfect so far.
No, I don't have questions.
Good, great. So we're going to be finishing here. Again, don't worry if you still have some questions. We didn't finish. We're going to continue covering this on Monday because we have some more things to cover, all right? So don't worry about that. As always, I'm going to give you this poll. Please fill it out, and we're going to be finishing here. Thanks for being in this class, and I'll see you on Monday. All right, have a good weekend.
Teacher, I have a question about our scores.
Yes, tell me, Whitney.
How are our scores? Because I am in TOEFL Garantizado and I have a high score, right? And I don't know how I did my homeworks.
Yeah, everything actually, Whitney. Okay, before you leave, please, Luciana, don't forget to fill out the poll. All right, Mariana left, but she didn't do it. But Whitney, all of the grades, all of the scores are for you to see. I mean, if you sign in with your account, you can go to Pearson, go to Gradebook, and you can see all your grades there with me. Actually, I don't check anything. Pearson, all right, Pearson does everything automatically. Let's try to do it. Can you go to Pearson right now with me?
Yes, and I see the scores in my English lab, but there is a score or a qualifications about our speaking lessons or the
Or which ones, Whitney? I couldn't get the last part.
or in the classes there is a control that there is a score or no?
Actually, all and everything that is going to be graded, it's only what is on Pearson with me. All right. So only the grades that you see over there are the grades that are going to be evaluated. All right. So all the things that you see on classwork or on gradebook are the only ones. It's just that I need to check, for example, you have writing exercises, right? On Pearson. The writing exercises are something that I need to check manually. And some speaking exercises on Pearson are also something that I check manually. I add a grade over there, but again, everything is already on Pearson with me. Perhaps the only thing that are missing are the writing scores. All right, but once I check the writing exercises, it's again going to be on Pearson with me. But there are no other scores and there are no other grades besides the ones that you have on Pearson. All right?
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Okay, no, you're very welcome,
Hey,
Whitney.
teacher, thank you for the class. Bye.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.